When I left my desk at Bloomberg a few minutes ago, I checked. The last thing I did was to check where December is priced, the possibility of a December hike. 72% was the number that it kicked out for me, the work function, as they call it. Are you comfortable with 72%, or do you think it's time for maybe the Fed to pause?
Well, we just submitted a summary of economic projections for the last FOMC, and I believe the median dot was 4 rate hikes this year, so that would indicate a high likelihood of one more this year. I'm quite comfortable with the expected path embedded in the median of the SEPs. I think that my own take on a neutral longer run funds rate is 2.75%. So I think getting policy up to a slightly restrictive setting, 3.25% would be consistent with the strong economy and good inflation that we're looking at.
So I'm just nailing down your dot. Your dot is, so you're still, you like the idea of a December hike?
I'm quite comfortable with that, yes.
Okay. What do you make of...
according to the rules, we're not supposed to identify which dot is ours.
I fully appreciate that. I'm just sometimes nice to play with the rules. Just in terms of the data, if I take a look at the inflation data, it's a slight softening of late. Does that in any way concern you?
I think the inflation data picked up in a pretty nice fashion. We're at 2%, just a touch under perhaps given monthly data movements, but it's improved quite significantly in the last couple of years. I had been saying for quite some time that we needed to provide enough accommodation so that we got to 2%. We have a 2% symmetric inflation objective, so it's completely fine to go above 2% for some time. In fact, we ought to average 2, be above 2 half the time perhaps. So getting inflation up to 2 is really quite an accomplishment. I would say with the unemployment rate at 3.9%, I think we're well positioned to continue with inflation at our objective, perhaps just a little bit above.